You sent the perfect message. You waited. You checked your phone 11 times. Nothing. She is talking to someone else right now. Maybe several people. And you are sitting there wondering what you did wrong. Here is the truth nobody will tell you. You did everything wrong. Not because you are flawed, but because you were taught a lie. The lie says that effort wins, that persistence proves love, that showing more interest makes her more interested. It does not. Robert Greene wrote something that most men will never understand. He said that desire is like a flame. Smother it with attention, and it dies. Give it space, and it burns hotter. You have been smothering her. Not with your hands, with your energy, with your availability, with your obvious hunger for her approval. And she feels it. Not through your words, through something deeper. Women read emotional signals the way predators read movement. They do not analyze. They sense. Right now, she senses that you need her, and that need is killing her attraction. But here is what changes today. I am going to hand you a framework, not advice, not motivation. A framework that will restructure how you operate in her emotional world. It is called the inverse law of desire. The inverse law works like this. The more you pursue, the more she retreats. The more you retreat, the more she pursues. Simple, but almost no man applies it. Because it feels wrong. It feels like giving up. It feels like losing. It is not losing. It is strategy. It is understanding that female desire does not follow the same rules as male desire. When a man sees a woman he wants, his attraction is immediate, visual, direct. He knows what he wants and moves toward it. When a woman feels attraction, it builds differently. It grows through uncertainty, through emotional texture, through not knowing where she stands. This is not manipulation. This is biology. Carl Jung called it the anima projection. A woman does not fall for who you are. She falls for what you awaken in her. The feelings you stir, the thoughts you provoke, the uncertainty you create. And you cannot create uncertainty if you are always certain about her. The other men in her phone are doing what you used to do. They reply fast. They compliment often. They ask how her day went. They send good morning texts. They are consistent in the most boring way possible. And she groups them together. Not by name, by feeling. They all feel the same, eager, available, predictable. You are going to feel different. Not because you will play games, but because you will understand something they never will. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own, and you have been giving it away for free. Robert Greene studied power for decades. He found one pattern that repeats across history, across cultures, across every human interaction. The person who needs less always controls more. Read that again. The person who needs less always controls more. Right now, you need her validation. You need her response. You need her to choose you so you can feel worthy. That need is visible. It leaks through your texts. It shows in how quickly you respond. It echoes in the compliments you give too easily. And she reads all of it. Not consciously, instinctively. Nietzsche wrote about the will to power. He said every human action comes from a desire to feel significant. When you chase her approval, you hand her your significance. You tell her that she decides your worth. No woman respects that. No woman desires that. But when you hold your worth independent of her reaction, something shifts. She stops seeing you as a pursuer. She starts seeing you as a puzzle. Why does he not chase like the others? Why does he not need my response? Why does he not bend? Those questions create emotional space. And in that space, attraction grows. This is not about ignoring her. It is not about being cold. It is about being complete. A complete man does not need her to feel whole. He wants her, but he does not need her. That distinction changes everything. Over the next 30 minutes, I am going to show you exactly how to become that man. Not through tricks, through psychological reconstruction. You will learn how to anchor emotions she cannot forget, how to create tension that pulls her toward you, how to walk away in a way that makes her chase, and how to become the only option she actually wants. But first, you need to understand the mistake that keeps 90% of men trapped. The mistake that makes them invisible no matter how hard they try. Stay with me. The mistake is worship, not obvious worship, not bowing at her feet. Something more subtle, more dangerous. The quiet worship of making her the center of your emotional world. You think about her when you wake. You check if she viewed your story. You analyze her last message for hidden meanings. You adjust your schedule hoping she becomes available. She is not your girlfriend. She is not your wife. She may barely know your name. But she already owns your attention. And she knows it. Robert Greene wrote about the laws of power. One law stands above the rest when it comes to attraction. Never put someone on a pedestal. The moment you look up at them, they look down at you. You have placed her above you. Not with words, with focus, with mental real estate, with the weight you give her smallest actions. This is what separates you from the man she actually wants. He does not wake up thinking about her. He wakes up thinking about his mission, his work, his growth, his direction. She enters his mind, but she does not live there. She is a guest, not a resident. That difference creates everything. Freud understood that desire requires obstacle. He called it the pleasure principle versus the reality principle. We want most what we cannot easily have. Remove the obstacle and the desire fades. When you are always available, you remove the obstacle. You become easy. And easy is never exciting. The man she cannot stop thinking about is never easy. Not because he plays hard to get. Because he genuinely has a life that does not revolve around her. His calendar is full. His energy is directed. His purpose is clear. She fits into his world. He does not try to fit into hers. This is not performance. This is architecture. You must build a life so compelling that she becomes one part of it, not the foundation. Let me show you what this looks like. Imagine two men, both attracted to the same woman. The first man texts her every day. He remembers small details she mentioned. He asks about her friends, her work, her problems. He is attentive. He is kind. He is consistent. The second man texts her when he has something worth saying. Sometimes days pass. He does not ask about her problems unless she brings them to him. He is warm when present, but absent without apology. Who does she think about at night? Not the first man. She appreciates him. She might even call him sweet. But she does not feel tension. She does not wonder. She does not wait. The second man lives in her mind because he created space there. His absence carved a room she keeps returning to. This is the psychology of scarcity. Robert Greene wrote that we value what retreats from us. It is wired into the human brain. When something moves away, we want to chase it. When something moves toward us constantly, we want to escape. You have been moving toward her. Every message, every reaction, every adjusted plan, all movement in her direction. Now reverse it, not with games, with genuine redirection. Start investing in what makes you valuable independent of her. Your body, your skills, your income, your mind, your circle, your presence. When these things grow, something strange happens. You stop needing her response to feel good. You stop checking your phone with anxiety. You stop performing for approval. And she feels the shift. She does not know what changed. She just knows you feel different, heavier, more grounded, less available. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man's worth is measured by the things he pursues. If you pursue her validation, your worth shrinks in her eyes. If you pursue your own excellence, your worth expands. This is not about ignoring women. It is about priority. She should never feel like your first priority. Not because you lie to her, because she genuinely is not. Your health is first. Your purpose is first. Your growth is first. She earns a position through investment, not through beauty, not through attention. Most men reverse this. They meet a beautiful woman and immediately place her at the center. They stop going to the gym. They cancel plans with friends. They reshape their lives around her schedule. And within weeks, she loses interest. Not because she is cruel. Because biology is honest. A man who abandons himself for her is not a man worth keeping. She wants someone who would survive without her. Someone whose life is rich whether she stays or leaves. Someone who chooses her from abundance, not desperation. That is the man who gets chosen. In the next segment, I will show you exactly how to create emotional impact that she cannot forget. How to anchor yourself in her memory even when you are not there. She will forget what you said. She will forget what you did. She will never forget how you made her feel. This is not poetry. This is neuroscience. The human brain stores memories through emotion. The stronger the feeling, the deeper the imprint. Ordinary moments vanish. Charged moments remain for years. Most men create no charge. They are pleasant. They are nice. They are forgettable. You are going to be different. You are going to understand emotional anchoring. Robert Greene studied seduction across centuries. He found that the greatest seducers in history shared one skill. They made people feel things they had never felt before. Not through grand gestures, through psychological precision. An emotional anchor is a moment so intense that her brain links that feeling permanently to you. It is not about romance. It is about disruption. When you disrupt her emotional pattern, she remembers you. Here is what most men do. They compliment her beauty. They tell her she is pretty. They admire her body. They say what 100 men have said before. She smiles. She says thank you. She forgets within the hour. Now, here is what creates an anchor. You look at her and say nothing about her appearance. Instead, you say something like this. There is something restless behind your eyes. Like you are searching for something you cannot name. Most people probably miss it. But I see it. She was not expecting that. No one has said that before. You did not validate her. You revealed her. You spoke to something she keeps hidden. That is disruption. That is an anchor. Jung wrote about the shadow self, the parts of us we hide from the world, the fears we do not speak, the desires we suppress, the contradictions we pretend do not exist. Most people interact with her mask, the social performance, the curated image. You speak to what is beneath, not because you are trying to impress her, because you actually see her. And being seen by someone who does not need anything from you is the rarest experience she will ever have. This requires genuine observation, not scripts, not memorized lines. Real attention to who she is beneath the surface. Watch how she speaks when she is not performing. Notice what makes her eyes change. Listen for the things she almost says, but holds back. Pay attention to her pauses. Then reflect something back that she did not expect you to notice. That is how you enter her mind and never leave. But there is a second layer to emotional anchoring. It is not just what you say. It is the tension you create through rhythm. Most men are emotionally flat. Same energy every time. Same predictable warmth. Same consistent attention. Consistency is the enemy of desire. Robert Greene wrote that unpredictability is the essence of seduction. The human brain stops paying attention to patterns. It only notices what breaks the pattern. So you must vary your rhythm. Some days you are warm and engaged. Some days you are distant and focused elsewhere. Some conversations go deep. Others stay light. She should never fully know what to expect from you. Not because you are playing games, because you are genuinely complex. You have moods, you have depths, you have dimensions she has not yet discovered. That complexity creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, the most addictive pattern known to human behavior. Slot machines use it. Social media uses it. And the men who are impossible to forget use it. When she does not know when the next reward is coming, she keeps pulling the lever. She keeps coming back. She keeps thinking about you. Contrast this with the man who gives constant reward. Every text is warm. Every interaction is positive. Every response is immediate. She knows exactly what she will get. And knowing kills desire. Schopenhauer wrote that life swings between pain and boredom. We suffer when we want. We grow bored when we have. The only escape is aesthetic experience. Moments that lift us beyond ordinary life. You must become an aesthetic experience for her. Not through perfection, through intensity, through presence that disrupts her autopilot, through moments that pull her out of the mundane. One conversation with you should feel different than 10 conversations with anyone else. Not because you tried harder, because you were actually there, because you listened differently, because you spoke to something real. That is the anchor. That is what makes her think of you when she hears a certain song, when she visits a certain place, when she feels a certain feeling. You are not just a man she met. You are an experience she carries. In the next segment, I will show you the most counterintuitive truth of all. How walking away becomes the most powerful move you will ever make. The most powerful position in any relationship is the ability to walk away. Not as a threat, not as manipulation, as truth. When you can leave without breaking, you hold a power that nothing else can give you. She feels it. She may never name it, but she feels it in every interaction. Robert Greene studied the dynamics of power for years. He found that dependence destroys leverage. The moment someone knows you cannot leave, they own you. Your words lose weight. Your presence loses value. Your boundaries become suggestions. Most men cannot walk away. Not physically, emotionally. They have invested so much hope into her that leaving feels like death, like failure, like admitting they are not enough. So they stay. They tolerate disrespect. They accept crumbs. They wait for her to change her mind while she loses more respect for them every day. This is not love. This is imprisonment. And she is not the warden. You are. Epictetus taught that freedom is the only worthy goal. Not freedom from external chains, freedom from internal ones, the attachments that make you weak, the needs that make you desperate, the fears that make you small. Your attachment to her outcome is a chain. Break it. Not by pretending you do not care, by actually building a self that exists beyond her. Here is what that looks like. You meet a woman. You enjoy her. You feel attraction. You invest attention, but underneath that investment sits something solid. a foundation that does not shake based on her response. If she stays, good. If she leaves, you remain whole. That foundation is not arrogance. It is not coldness. It is self-possession. The quiet knowledge that your worth was never hers to decide. Nietzsche wrote about amor fati, love of fate, the ability to embrace whatever comes without losing yourself. When you reach that state with women, everything changes. You stop auditioning, you stop performing, you stop adjusting yourself to fit her expectations. Instead, you show up as you are, fully, without apology, and you let her decide if she wants to match that energy. If she does not, you wish her well and walk. No anger, no resentment, no long explanations, just a clean departure. And here is the paradox that will reshape your understanding. The man who can walk away is the one she chases. The man who cannot leave is the one she leaves. It sounds backwards, but female desire does not follow logic. It follows emotional gravity. When you demonstrate that you would survive without her, you become safe to want. She knows you are not going to collapse. You are not going to cling. You are not going to make her responsible for your happiness. That safety allows her attraction to grow. But when you show that losing her would destroy you, she feels trapped, pressured, responsible for emotions she did not ask to carry. And she pulls away, not because she is cruel, because your weight became too heavy. Robert Greene wrote about strategic retreat. Sometimes the most powerful move is stepping back, creating space, allowing desire to breathe. When you walk away, you create a vacuum. Her mind fills that vacuum with questions, with memories, with longing she did not expect. Why did he leave so easily? Did I misjudge him? What did I lose? Those questions haunt her. And in that haunting, attraction is reborn. But this only works if your departure is clean. No bitterness, no passive aggression, no dramatic exit designed to punish her. Just peace. You leave because staying no longer serves you. You leave because your standards matter more than her approval. You leave because you refuse to exist where you are not valued. That is strength. And strength is attractive beyond words. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you should never value anything that would make you break your word or lose your self-respect. Her attention is not worth your dignity. Her validation is not worth your peace. When you truly believe that, she sees it. She sees a man who honors himself, a man who does not need to beg, a man who knows exactly what he deserves, and she wants to be chosen by that man. Not because she won a competition, because being chosen by someone with standards means something. You are not the desperate option who would take anyone. You are the selective man who saw something in her worth his time. That is the frame that makes her chase. In the final segment, I will show you who you must become. Not what to do, who to be. Because tactics fade. But identity lasts forever. Everything I have told you will fail if you do not understand this. Tactics without identity are noise. You can learn every strategy. You can memorize every principle. But if you remain the same man underneath, she will see through it in minutes. Women do not respond to what you do. They respond to who you are. And who you are bleeds through every word, every pause, every glance. Robert Greene wrote that the self is a mask we construct. Most people inherit their mask from family, culture, circumstance. They never question it. They never rebuild it. You must rebuild yours, not by pretending, by becoming. There is a version of you that already exists. A version without the need for approval, without the fear of rejection, without the desperate hunger for external validation. That version is not fantasy. It is who you would be if you removed everything that does not serve you. The self-doubt, the constant comparison, the belief that you are not enough. These are programs installed by experiences you did not choose. They are not you. Jung called this process individuation, the slow work of separating who you truly are from who you were taught to be. It is the most important work a man can do, because until you do it, you will keep chasing women to fill a hole that no woman can fill. She is not your salvation. She is not your proof of worth. She is not the answer to the emptiness you carry. You are the answer. When you become complete within yourself, attraction becomes effortless. Not because you learned tricks, because you no longer need anything from her. And that absence of need is the most attractive energy on earth. Let me tell you what this man looks like. He wakes with purpose, not vague ambition, clear direction. He knows what he is building. He knows why it matters. His days have structure. His actions have intention. He takes care of his body, not for vanity, for respect. The body is a vessel. When you neglect it, you signal that you do not value yourself. When you strengthen it, you signal that you are worth investing in. He controls his mind. He does not spiral into anxiety over a delayed text. He does not construct disaster scenarios from silence. His emotional state is governed from within, not from her behavior. He has standards, real ones, not a list of physical traits. Standards for how he is treated. Standards for reciprocity. Standards for respect. And he enforces them without apology. He speaks with weight, not volume. He does not fill silence with nervous chatter. He lets his words land. He is comfortable with pauses. He does not rush to impress. He is present. When he talks to her, he is fully there, not rehearsing his next line, not analyzing her response, engaged with the moment. That presence is rarer than any gift he could give. This is not a performance. This is a reconstruction of self. Albert Ellis wrote that we disturb ourselves through irrational beliefs. The belief that we must be loved to have worth, the belief that rejection means failure, the belief that we need approval to feel whole. These beliefs are lies, and they keep you small. Replace them. You do not need her to choose you. You need to choose yourself so completely that her choice becomes secondary. Read that again. Her choice is secondary. Your choice is primary. When you choose yourself first, you stop performing. You stop calculating. You stop trying to be what you think she wants. Instead, you become what you actually respect. And that alignment between who you are and who you want to be creates an energy that cannot be faked. She will feel it before you say a word. A man who is at war with himself feels unstable. A man who is aligned feels solid, grounded, safe. Not safe like boring. Safe like strong. Safe like he will not collapse under pressure. Safe like he can handle life without breaking. That is what she wants. Not perfection. Integration. Nietzsche wrote about becoming who you are, not who society expects, not who your fears demand, who you actually are when everything false is stripped away. That is your work. Not learning lines, not memorizing tactics. Becoming. 6 months from now, you will not recognize yourself. Not because you pretended, because you shed what was never real in the first place. And when you stand in front of her then, complete, aligned, unshakable, she will not compare you to other men. There will be no comparison. In the final segment, I will leave you with the truth that makes all of this permanent. The one principle that separates men who transform from men who stay stuck forever. You have made it this far. Most men quit. Most men listen but never act. Most men return to the same patterns that keep them invisible. You are still here. That means something. But knowledge without application is entertainment. And I did not make this to entertain you. I made this to change you. So let me give you the final principle, the one that separates the men who transform from the men who stay trapped forever. It is this: consistency of self, not consistency of attention toward her, consistency of who you are regardless of her. Robert Greene wrote that most people are inconsistent. They change based on who they are with. They perform different versions of themselves for different audiences. And that inconsistency creates distrust. Women sense it immediately. When you act confident but feel desperate underneath, she feels the gap. When you pretend to have standards but abandon them the moment she pushes, she sees the weakness. When you perform strength but collapse at the first sign of rejection, she knows the truth. You cannot fake consistency. You can only build it, and you build it through daily action. Small choices, repeated standards, honored boundaries. Every time you choose yourself over her approval, you strengthen the man you are becoming. Every time you walk away from disrespect, you reinforce your worth. Every time you hold silence instead of chasing, you prove to yourself that you do not need external validation. These moments compound. One day you will realize you no longer have to try. The man you were building has arrived. He is no longer a concept. He is you. That is when everything shifts. Not because you learned new tactics, because you are no longer the man who needed them. Freud wrote about repetition compulsion, the tendency to repeat old patterns even when they cause pain. Most men repeat the pattern of chasing, the pattern of performing, the pattern of losing themselves in pursuit of women who do not value them. Break the loop. You break it by doing something different today. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Today. Send one less message. Hold one boundary. Invest 1 hour in yourself instead of thinking about her. Start small, but start. Plato wrote about the cave. Men chained in darkness, watching shadows on a wall, believing the shadows are reality. One man breaks free. He sees the sun. He returns to tell the others. They do not believe him. You have seen something today. A different way to exist. A different way to relate to women. A different way to relate to yourself. Most men will go back to the shadows, back to the chasing, back to the patterns that keep them small. You do not have to. The choice is yours. It has always been yours. That is the uncomfortable truth no one wants to hear. Your results with women are not bad luck. They are reflection. A mirror showing you who you have been. Change who you are, and the reflection changes. This is not about her anymore. This is about you. The man you become in this process will attract women as a side effect. But more importantly, he will respect himself. He will trust himself. He will like who he sees in the mirror. That is the real prize. Not her, you. Jordan Peterson wrote that you should compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Stop measuring yourself against other men. Stop competing for her attention. Start competing with your former self. Be better than you were last week. Stronger, more grounded, more aligned. That is the only competition that matters. And when you win that competition daily, women become simple. Not because they are objects to conquer, because you are no longer confused about your value. You know what you bring. You know what you deserve. You know when to stay and when to walk. That clarity is rare. That clarity is attractive. That clarity will make her choose you even when she has 1,000 options. Not because you manipulated her, because you became someone worth choosing. I will leave you with this. She is not the goal. She is the result. The goal is you. The goal is building a man so complete that her presence is a gift, not a need. A man whose absence she fears because his presence changed her. Become that man. Not tomorrow. Now. And when you do, you will not have to wonder if she will choose you. She already has.